be spoon-fed your whole life. It's okay to be a free thinker, even if you're proven wrong. You could have a great theory or a great, like we've tracked down many conspiracies that ended up being dead ends or facts ended up being untrue, so we had to move in a different direction. But that's the nature of investigations, the nature of good public discourse, is being able to have all sorts of viewpoints presented.
Well said, Tyrell Ventura. Great job on the show. And I want to be clear, it's you, the audience, it's you, the people getting the word out at the grassroots that deserve all the credit for the awakening that's happening. I'm only a small part of that. Tyrell's a small part. Ventura's a small part. But all of us together is extremely powerful. Tyrell, hope to see you in Minnesota or out in Los Angeles or come to Austin soon. Hope the show gets picked up again so I can work with you some more. We love what you're doing. Tell your dad I said hi, and surf's up.
Take care, all.
Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633.
What's your home worth? How can you compare local real estate agents? And how do you get MLS listings for the entire country? If you're thinking of buying a home to take advantage of the tax credit or selling your house, you first need to see an incredible website called HomeGain.com. HomeGain.com will help you find a realtor to buy or sell a home. It's so easy, and best of all, it's free. At HomeGain.com, you can compare realtors anonymously, receive customized proposals, see consumer reviews, then select the best realtor for you. Go to HomeGain.com and get an instant home value estimate, view comparable homes, and check out street views. HomeGain.com has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and contains a wealth of information, like their home improvement tool that helps you determine which home improvements to make to increase your home's value. See the top 12 home improvements right now at HomeGain.com. That's HomeGain.com. Look for Max, the orange HomeGain Gorilla, to help you find a realtor or with any other real estate needs you might have at HomeGain.com, your real estate connection.
America is in deep, deep trouble because we don't know our rights. Let's get real freedom back into America by teaching and promoting the Bill of Rights with the 2010 Freedom Calendar. Why? Because our forefathers gave them to us. Because the Freedom Calendar is true patriotism in action. And because if you don't know your rights and use them, you may lose them. The Freedom Calendar is the best educational tool in over 200 years. It shows in detail how to use your rights, how to answer any bureaucrat, how to use your guaranteed rights for true freedom. The Freedom Calendar is the easy way to learn the proper use and function of each of our rights and is perfect for homeschoolers, business promotions, and fundraisers. Order your Freedom Calendar now for just $15, and discounts are available for bulk orders. Call 651-771-5234. Again, 651-771-5234. The Freedom Calendar. Know your rights or lose them. Order now while supplies last. Call 651-771-5234 today.
He's the T-Rex of political talk. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
She's a member of Iceland's parliament. She's also the chairman of her party. She's been involved in Friends of Tibet. She's been involved all over the world fighting tyranny. Her bio is lengthy. Her name is Birgitta Jónsdóttir, or Daughter of Jones, and we are very honored to have her joining us via video Skype from the capital of Iceland. She is with us for the next 52 minutes, and we really appreciate her coming on in her busy schedule. We'll give you the party's website and a lot more information. Here is the London Guardian. Britain's anti-terror laws being deployed for all sorts of ends, as Iceland has just discovered. They declared the country basically terrorist, stole many of their bank accounts. They want the country to pay private debts for derivatives to Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Bank of England, and others. And the country, just like third world nations have been taken over, is being taken over by offshore banks. The people are saying no. Now the banks are backing off, saying, well, maybe we had assets we didn't tell you about and you don't owe that much. It's all made up. If they can win their fight there, it will send a domino effect throughout Eastern Europe, Asia, Latin America, the United States. This debt is created through fraud. We also have Bankstergate with Tim Geithner, open discussions of him being indicted for fraud, getting money for himself and others out of bailout money, and ordering the government to cover that up at AIG. And so we'll get her take on Bankstergate as well. But we are very honored to have Birgitta Jones-Dottir on with us. Thank you so much for coming on.
Well, thanks for having me. However, I have to correct one thing about the banks. The bank that we are supposed to be covering was a privately run bank by Icelanders. But
it made the investments in the derivatives.
Yes, of course. So we were basically conned. The entire nation was conned. And the thing is that the Brits and the Dutch, they want us to pay back with huge interest. So they're actually making money off us, money that never reached Iceland. And most Icelanders had never heard of these accounts before everything collapsed. And they put the anti-terrorist law on us almost like guinea pigs, because they had not tried to use that particular Terror Act law. And instead of putting it on the bank in the beginning, which was privately owned, they put it on Iceland. And actually, during our incredible system, almost entire system collapse, when all the big banks collapsed, they decided to put the Terrorist Act on us. So we were very close to not having food in Iceland.
Amazing. Now, start at the beginning for people that don't understand what's happening and why this is so important globally, with what happened in Iceland, the chain of events, and now the incredible fight you and others are leading against the banking cartel, literally turning your country into a vassal state through economic fraudulent conquest.
Well, it all happened a few years ago. All the big banks were actually government-owned, or the people owned them. And we had a conservative party run Iceland for 18 years, and during that period they basically privatized everything the people owned, including the banks, a few years ago. And they sold the banks relatively cheaply to friends and allies, and they made, in a very short period of time, all the legislation vanish that would have them, having to not expand as quickly as they did. They became 5 times bigger than the annual GDP. And so when they collapsed, you can imagine how huge blow it was for the nation.
Now, today, in Iceland, there's been, almost a year of protest and people taking over government buildings and saying no, and a key vote is coming up by the people of Iceland on whether or not you're going to capitulate to this fraud. Can you walk us through that?
Yes, just around the time when, the banking system collapsed, protests started. People were actually quite shocked because they had been conned. And we wanted to get the government out of office, which is impossible by legislation. So we had the soft revolution, driving the government away. And then when we got a new government, which apparently is just like the old one, unfortunately, with all their secrecy and bowing to the IMF, which, I really think that we need to get a plan B to get rid of. And there's been an ongoing protest, and it's growing bigger and bigger again because people are very unhappy with the way the new government is handling things, even though it is the first left-wing government in the history of Iceland. Because you can't run left-wing politics with the IMF controlling the national budget. And we've been, in the parliament. I just got thrust into parliament. I'm not really a politician by heart. And our movement, we were created out of all the different grassroots that popped up after the collapse. And we got just in 8 weeks more than 7% of the vote, and we didn't have any money, no big money people behind us, just a relentless effort of ordinary people who wanted to build a bridge between Parliament and the people. So, when we got into Parliament, the Icesave dilemma landed in our lap, and we found out that they wanted to pass this huge burden on the nation without even the parliamentarians seeing the contract between Iceland and the Dutch and the British government. So the fight started there, and fortunately the contract was leaked. And that has been a great blessing for us, that so much of the material they wanted to hide from us and the nation has been leaked on sites like WikiLeaks and into the media in Iceland. However, we managed to change the contract this summer, which was actually a totally unique and a new way also for other nations that are suffering from, spending all their national budget, all the GDP on just paying interest of foreign debt. So in the changes on the bill, we managed to put in